A second time, I call the member for Canberra.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Labor's 24-25 budget is delivering for Australians. From cost of living relief to women's health to renewable energy, it's all in the budget. And it's also a budget that delivers for my community in Canberra, and that's something that we have not seen for a decade because the previous government did not treat our community with the respect that it deserved or invest in the things that are important either for our community and the challenges and opportunities we face in the way that all communities do, or as a national capital of our nation belonging to all Australians. Just this week, I've had the great pleasure to host 3 ministerial visits in my electorate relating to budget announcements, with the Small Business Minister, with the Education Minister and with the Minister for Early Education this morning, and I want to talk more about those further in my speech. But our government is committed to supporting Australians through the tough time they are facing at the moment. We are actively working to make things fairer and more equitable. Our biggest priority is to ease cost of living pressures, and this budget is doing just that, while also setting Australia up for the future. Australians are doing it tough right now. We've had a difficult 10 years under a coalition government, which ended with a global pandemic. Across the world, economies are struggling to know how to deal with the fallout from 2020 still. But our government is taking charge, and we are ensuring that all Australians experience cost of living relief through our policies. From 1 July this year, every Australian taxpayer will get a tax cut, every single one. That's 13.6 million people around the country, because we want Australians to earn more and keep more of what they earn. In my electorate of Canberra, 78,000 people will receive a tax cut. Speaker, we are also delivering $300 of energy bill relief for every household. 10 million households across the country will receive a $300 rebate on their energy bills. Our government is also committed to helping 1 million Australians with the cost of rent by increasing the maximum rate of Commonwealth rent assistance by 10% and building on the increase we delivered in last year's budget. We're also providing more social housing, cheaper medicines, improved housing conditions for remote Indigenous communities. This is building on our commitment from previous budgets for cheaper childcare, creating jobs and getting wages moving again. This is a budget that delivers for young people, including those studying at university or TAFE. Yesterday, it was my great pleasure to join the Minister for Education, Jason Clare, at the University of Canberra in their Clinical Education and Research Centre to meet with nursing students about the changes to university prac placements. I want to thank Deputy Vice-Chancellor Michelle Lincoln and her team and the nursing students Brandon, Anna and Xanthi, who we met yesterday, for having us. In the budget, the Treasurer announced that the Commonwealth would be establishing a new prac payment from July next year. As we all know, practical placements are a compulsory and necessary part of many degree programs. They provide vital experience and training in the student's chosen field, preparing them for their future career. But almost always, these pracs are unpaid. This means that students have been expected to turn up to their prac, often full-time, and essentially work for free, and have no or limited time to work outside of that. This has been a huge barrier to many even beginning degrees that they would like to undertake in the first place. And this is in some of the most critically important careers in our community and economy, talking about nursing, midwifery, social work and teaching. And these are the areas that will benefit from this new payment. And I remember even from when I was at university how difficult it was for people to balance needing to go away to a placement in another town or city while still paying rent in their current accommodation, as well as accommodation while they're away, as well as trying to get leave, but most are casual and can't do that from their jobs that they're using to support themselves while studying. So this payment is about supporting those students to be able to continue in these really important degrees that they are doing. And it was great to talk about this at the University of Canberra yesterday, which is a really key training institution in our region for nurses, teachers and social work students. And it was really great particularly to talk to the nursing students there about their experiences and how this payment would assist people. But this new payment isn't all that we're doing in higher education. The government is also reforming the HECS system. We've all heard from students in our electorates about their legitimate concerns regarding their HECS debts, and I understand their concern. HECS debts today are significantly larger than what they were when I studied at uni. And last year, the indexation was made in line with consumer price index was really difficult for people. Many saw the debt they'd paid off over the last year reappear. It wasn't fair, so we've taken the decision to wipe $3 billion of Australians' HECS debts. In my electorate of Canberra, this will impact approximately 22,670 students. We've also changed how indexation works so that each year HECS debts will be indexed to the lower of CPI or the wage price index. This morning I had the great pleasure to visit Good Start Garran and Asunta and the team there. I've visited this centre many times, but to be joined by the Early Childhood Minister, Dr Anne Ali, and to talk with the educators there about the work that they do and, of course, chat with lots of the children there who are starting their day at Good Start. As a mother whose children, one child currently in early childhood education and the other who's been through and now at school, it really is humbling to see the work that the early childhood educators do every day to care for and educate our children, and how much this means to families and our community more broadly. And this work, it requires great dedication, skill, patience. It's a really special person that is able to do that job, and most of them that I've spoken to are so passionate and committed to what they do. So it's, well beyond time that they received more recognition and better pay for what they do, and I was really proud that our budget also included a commitment to increase the wages of early childhood educators. And it was great to talk with the team at Garran Good Start this morning about that, and also with Rosalind Baxter, the CEO of Good Start Australia. The government is investing in Australian skills. In Canberra, we're establishing the nation's first ever TAFE Centre of Excellence, right here at CIT in Fyshwick. This was already a nation-leading electric vehicle training hub there, but for Canberra to host the very first of the national TAFE Centres of Excellence, again, is something I cannot imagine would have happened under the previous government, and something that is great not just for our city but the region and even nationally. We've had students coming here to study that those really important skills as we move towards more electric vehicles being on the road and needing the skills to look after those vehicles. So this is a total investment of $24.1 million into Canberra, which includes funding from the ACT government as well, but I believe around $18 million from the federal government to get that up and running. And Canberra has one of the highest take-ups of electric vehicles, so I think particularly relevant to our city. The 2024 budget also delivers for small business, Deputy Speaker, and it was fantastic on Monday to join the Minister for Small Business, Julie Collins, to visit the Scott Lego Gallery in Kingston. And this is one of Canberra's most loved small businesses. It's run by my constituents, Scott and Philippa Lego, and people might be familiar with Scott's magnificent photography, which captures not just our city, but nationally, beautiful landscape photography, and also so you can go there to get a magnificent piece for your wall, but also smaller gifts, even jigsaws. It's a really great business, and it was wonderful to have the Minister with me there on Monday to talk to them about the pressures that they are facing, and particularly about the energy rebate that we're delivering for small business. This is a $325 payment for small businesses to help with their energy costs, and it's expected that this will go to around 18,000 small businesses across the ACT. And it's part of $640 million of targeted support to small businesses in the budget. We're also extending the $20,000 instant asset write-off for small businesses across the country so that they can invest in what they need to make their businesses thrive. I just want to take a moment too to talk about the Canberra business community, because I think this is another thing that in this place many people take for granted, is that we are the nation's capital and we house the nation's public service. But our business community really punches above its weight in terms of innovation, and no one is more passionate about Canberra than our business community. And it really is the small businesses that make Canberra such a wonderful place to live, but also to visit and give our city, its vibrancy. So, I'm really proud that our government is supporting those small businesses in Canberra and around the country. This is a budget that delivers for Australian women. We're putting women and gender equality at the centre of our economic plan. We want to make women's lives safer, fairer and more equal. And Deputy Speaker, when you have more diverse voices, you get better outcomes, and that is what this budget delivers. The Albanese government is the first federal government in the nation's history with a majority of women, and I think you can see that in the issues that we talk about and the perspectives that we bring. In the 2024 budget, we are bringing the total amount of funding to support women's safety and the National Plan to End Violence Against Women and Children to over $3.4 billion since our government was elected. This includes $925 million over 5 years for the Permanent Leaving Violence program to deliver financial support for victim survivors leaving a violent intimate partner relationship, as well as support services for up to 12 weeks. It includes $44 million in the next financial year to support the National Legal Assistance Partnership and Family Violence Prevention legal services, including additional funding to address community legal sector pay disparity. We know gender-based and sexual violence is an issue on university campuses. To help stop this violence, our government will deliver $19.4 million over 2 years to establish a national student ombudsman to help to eradicate gender-based violence from universities, and $18.7 million over 4 years to establish a national higher education code to prevent and respond to gender-based violence. We have also committed $9.6 million over 5 years to further support informed policy advice to government to end gender-based violence. This includes $4.3 million to further build the evidence base on pathways into and out of perpetration of domestic and sexual violence, and $1.3 million for a rapid review of targeted prevention approaches to violence against women. We're also delivering $160 million for women's health. Thousands of women around Australia are dealing with complex gynecological conditions such as polycystic ovary syndrome and endometriosis. Our government is committing $49 million to introduce longer consultations for these conditions on Medicare. And I also just want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Assistant Minister for Health on the wonderful work she's been doing in this area, and her consultations with women around the country about their experiences in the health system has really opened a can of worms about women expressing the challenges that they have had to be taken seriously, to be diagnosed, and really shining a light on these issues that I think I can speak for all women have had some experience like that of varying degrees in the health system. And the outcome is, of course, commitments like this to delivering better for women and their health. We're also committing $5.5 million for the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare to develop a data set on sexual and reproductive health, and $1 million over 2 years for a miscarriage data scoping study. I'm running out of time, so which excellent measures should I talk about in the time remaining? I do want to talk about, as I've said, this is a budget for Canberra, but a particular fantastic announcement for Canberra was $250 million of funding for the Australian Institute of Sport. And this is a really important national institution where our athletes train. It was a world-leading institution in the way that it brought together multidisciplinary approaches to sport and athletes all in one place. And it has been neglected for too long, so I was really proud to join the Prime Minister and the Minister for Sport and my ACT Labor representative colleagues at the IAS to announce that much-needed funding, our government having already committed that the AIS would indeed remain in the nation's capital and have that significance as a national institution. It's also wonderful that the government has announced further investment into Stage 2B of the light rail to Woden and investment in the Canberra Symphony Orchestra, things that we would never have seen under the previous government. And I'm very proud of the budget and that it's a budget that delivers for all Australians, including in Canberra.
Thank the member. The question is that